You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody. Returning to Katahdin, an Appalachian Trail dream. Have you ever dreamt of hiking the AT? Bruce Matson did, so we're going to follow him every step of the way. Welcome back to Returning to Katahdin, an Appalachian Trail Dream, sponsored by our very good friends at Trailtopia. And this is where we get moving, at last. We're up to episode number 17, and the preparation is complete, the choices have been made, and now all that Bruce has to do is to walk 5 million steps. I was originally going to speak with him at the top of Springer, but I texted him early in the morning and suggested that we should talk at the bottom of the climb, right by the arch. I'm glad that I did, because not only did I get the chance to speak with Bruce and Cheryl prior to their trudge up the approach trail, but I also got to speak with one of our listeners and his wife. Robert and Margaret Thomas drove 1.5 hours to be there, simply to wish Bruce good luck on his journey. How nice is that? Thanks so much for being there, Robert and Margaret. That is so kind of you to show up. Now, as luck would have it, I forgot to ask Bruce a question from a listener. So this week, we'll be giving 2 Trailtopia meals to Robert and Margaret. If you're listening, Robert, email me your address and a couple of Trailtopia meals will be winging their way towards you. Now, talking about our friends, do you remember those cold, wet evenings on the trail when you pitched up at a shelter and there was nothing you would have rather had than a beautiful, hot, home-cooked meal? Well, apart from actually going home, you could try out one of the delicious meals from Trailtopia. Why not dig into their spectacular jambalaya with its authentic Creole flavour? Or how about their beef stew, which is loaded with beef, potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, corn, green beans and green bell pepper in a fantastic beef gravy? Go on, try them. Trust me, you're going to love them. Trailtopia, the best of home cooking away from home. Now, back to Saturday morning and the start of our adventure. There I was, like a 2-year-old by my computer, when Bruce called. It seemed almost surreal to me that we were at the starting gate. We started this 3 months ago, and there he was, right by the arch at Amicoloa State Park. Here's Bruce and Cheryl. Well, it's hard to believe it after all these weeks, but Bruce is at Amicoloa State Park, and I'm so excited. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
I'm great, Steve. How are you today?
I'm good. As I say, I'm really excited about this. First things first, of course, and I know you were hoping for decent weather. What's it like today?
It's actually a beautiful day. It was raining last night, and it's clearing. I would say we've got half blue sky, half clouds right now, but the forecast is actually for a sunny day. And if anything, I'm worried about it going to be too warm.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you might be complaining about that in a couple of weeks, I tell you. I'm quite sure you.
Probably not.
Did you do the stairs at all?
Well, we're at the arch, and when we finish speaking with you, we will pass through the arch and then go do the stairs.
How about that, man? So what's the system now? I remember when I was there, I signed in and I got my hiker number. I think it was number 800 and something, and I had weighed my pack. Have you weighed your pack?
Well, we've got a little dilemma there because, as you know, Cheryl's with me, and we're day hiking the approach trail, and we will get to Springer later this afternoon, and then we'll hike the first mile on the AT, and then we'll get picked up at that parking lot. And so all I have right now is a day pack with lunch, jacket, and some water.
That's a nice way to do it. That really is a nice way to do it. And what's the, before we started recording, you told me that ATC have turned up. So what's that about?
Sure. They've got some ridge runners here. They've got their own table inside the visitor center, and they're greeting everyone. You sign in. I am hiker 292, apparently, for 2018.
Yeah.
And they take you through a fairly rigorous set of questions just to make sure you're thought through your plans and you've got the right.
Have they never met you? Have they never heard of you? Of course you thought through your plan.
Well, apparently every other question he kept apologizing because I know you know this, but I need to walk through these questions with you. So I tried to assure him that he was the expert. I was happy to answer all the questions. So we went through that, and then we came out to the arch and took a few photographs, and got one of your most loyal listeners showed up to greet us, which was really nice. So
Robert, yes, that's great. That's lovely. Yeah. And Robert's driven an hour and a half to get there. Isn't that cool?
It is. And here's Robert. He'll say hello for a second.
Okay.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
Really enjoy it. Oh, great. I'm looking forward to watching all the podcasts to see how Bruce goes along.
If you've been listening to the podcast already, and I know you have, he is very prepared, isn't he?
Yeah, and I've been listening to the other one too, and I'm almost done catching up to the present day. So I've learned a lot.
That's a lot of listening.
Yeah, but it's worth it. I do it while I'm out walking mostly.
Great. I love that. I love the fact that people do it when they're hiking or walking. And actually, I know this sounds strange, but I sometimes listen to my own podcast when I'm hiking or when I'm walking as well. So just to know how it sounds before it actually gets released. So, it's good exercise.
Yeah, I get a lot of smiles and laughs out of it.
Well, thanks for being there to support Bruce. I really appreciate it.
And Barbara, his wife, is also here. So she, Margaret. I don't know why I thought Barbara. Sorry, Margaret. But they made. I can't believe that they came hour and a half. I'm pretty humbled by that.
That is very nice. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions because the sound isn't great at the moment. But so how many people are actually there? Is there quite a few people starting today?
Apparently, we haven't been here that long. Cheryl said she counted 10 starting already. So it's about 9:45, I guess, in the morning, and we've had a lot of activity in the visitor center and about 10 people starting.
Is it a good vibe there? I remember for me it was almost like electric, the atmosphere when you start, isn't it? You're ready to go and you're about to step through the arch. Is it quite a good vibe?
No question, it is. The Ridge Runner who signed me in was excited about it. He said, this is the hardest job in the world because I watch all these people head off on the approach trail and I can't follow them. So, but they are they're big, good presence here, and there is a great vibe. And it's cool. After all these years of looking at this arch and all the people passing under it and all the photos taken at it, it's pretty spiritual just to sort of be here.
It's your turn, my friend. It is your turn. And, as you know, that I wish you the best all the way. But I know that so many listeners, people have been writing to me the last couple of days, say, is Bruce on the trail yet? And they're looking forward to following this. So I'm going to talk to you again at about 2:30. I just wanted to say good luck at the Archway. And hopefully you're going to be at the top of Springer, 2:30 or 3 o'clock. But take your time. Enjoy it because it's a darn lovely day, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day. And, Cheryl's a little concerned about whether she can get there or not, but she's more fit than I am, so I don't expect us to have any problems.
All right. Well, when you get to the top, have a breather, get your breath back, then call me, okay?
All right. Very good.
Okay, buddy. Take it easy. Bye.
All right. Cheers. I'll talk to you later.
He's the 292nd person to have started this year. That seems incredibly high to me. But I guess it speaks to the enduring and iconic nature of this trail. Bruce has wanted this for so long, and as I said, it's his time. It's here. All of you listening who perhaps harbour ambitions of one day doing a through hike, don't lose that dream. If the stars align, it's going to be you stepping through that arch and doing something that will live with you for the rest of your lives. When we'd finished recording for the podcast, I continued chatting with him and remembered that there was something else I'd wanted to ask him. So, as the recorder was still running, here's what I asked. By the way, I forgot to ask you, are you going to grow a beard?
No, I'm not.
You're going to shave every day?
No. Every third day.
Every third day, okay. Or every Thursday.
Yeah. I have a very patchy beard. It's not very thick. It'd be pretty ugly. So
all right, okay.
I'll let it go scruffy for a few days, and then I'll clean it up.
I wonder how he's going to feel as he goes further down the trail. I must admit, I shaved often for the first 1,500 miles, but then I thought, why am I doing this? Who on earth am I trying to impress? So I just let it grow. In the end, I had quite a decent beard, so I'm not entirely sure that Bruce is going to stick with that one. We're going to see. Anyway, they set off, and I had to be by my microphone for when they hit the top. 2:30 came, then 3, then 3:30. And about 3:45, I started to get a bit concerned. What if he hated it and wanted to go home? What if Cheryl was struggling? I really didn't know, so I just sat there. Then, just before 4, he called. We got straight into it, and here's Bruce from the top of Springer Mountain and just those 5 million steps from Katahdin.
Dave, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
We're good. We're good.
Right. So live from the top of Springer on a Saturday afternoon, several hours after we last spoke, it's Bruce and Cheryl. How are you? You good?
We're great. Great.
That's amazing.
Good hike. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. If anything, it was on the warm side.
Oh, really?
We had a great time at Amicoloa Falls. We actually, after we spoke to you, we ended up talking to a bunch of people and having pictures taken, and we got kind of a late start. And thought we had enough time, and we climbed the stairs and saw the waterfall, and then off we went on the approach trail. So,
wow. How was the climb itself?
I thought it was fair. I thought it wasn't excruciating. The signs say strenuous. I think there are more strenuous climbs I'm going to see. I don't think it was just the walk in the park. I'm going to be tired at the end of the day, but I thought it was a really, really good hike.
How long is it now? Did you check your mileage?
Well, I trust their mileage because I didn't have any device to question it. Right. But it says it's 8.8 miles.
8.8, yeah. That's a good first day, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's not as you say, it's not a walk in the park, is it?
No, we've got 1 mile to walk north on the actual AT, which we haven't done yet, of course.
That's right.
And I think that might be the easiest mile on the entire Appalachian Trail. So it's just gently downhill, very gently downhill for a mile. And then there's a Forest Service road, and we'll have a shuttle pick us up.
All right. Now, my biggest surprise when I went on the approach trail was how narrow it all seemed. Does it still feel that way to you, or did it seem a bit wider? Because that was one of my biggest surprises of all about the Appalachian Trail, how absolutely narrow it is in a lot of places.
Yeah, here's my observation about that, and I think Cheryl made the same observation. I actually thought the trail was wide, fairly wide, and the walking corridor was fairly wide. But she really noted that how with no leaves on the trees, you could see a lot more. And I think that you started in May, and I think with a fully leaved
I started March. I started March.
March. Okay. Yeah. Did you have leaves on the trees?
No, it was very bare. It was very cold. That I always remember it was cold that day as well.
Yeah, I didn't find it to be that narrow. I mean, at least not compared to doing different strips on the AT in Virginia. I actually thought, and Cheryl probably got tired of me saying how fine the trail it was in terms of the quality of the footpath and the maintenance that had been done on it.
Nice.
And the manner in which it worked the switchbacks to climb. So I thought it was a great hike.
I did read the other day, I think, that they're talking about making the approach trail part of the Appalachian Trail itself, and you start down the bottom.
Cheryl's got a big grin on her face. She kept saying, "Why don't they make the trail start at Amicoloa Falls?"
It does. It makes sense.
It really does. It really does. And I think both she and I are in that camp that makes a lot of sense. And for them, trying to control numbers and trying to give people some orientation before they take off. Yeah. And they were very active this morning with new hikers. They've got a rundown of 10, 12 questions. They have people practice doing bear bagging. They've got a couple of rich runners who are full-time active, and maybe because today's a Saturday, but it seems quite busy with people starting their hike.
People seem to be starting these hikes earlier and earlier. You said this morning you were number 200 and something?
292.
Don't you think that's a huge amount have already gone this year? I was shocked when you said that, I must say. 292 already, and it's not it's not even the end of February yet. So that was a big surprise to me.
Well, and the Ridge Runner who checked me in said that they started that voluntary registration a couple of years ago, and they have over 4,000 registered.
Oh my gosh!
And they had about 35 last year, so there's clearly growth in the interest, as there has been for 10, 20 years running.
Yeah, and in those early miles, you're going to have quite busy shelters, so you're tenting, so it shouldn't bother you too much. But even getting a camp spot sometimes is a bit tricky in those early days. It certainly was for me when I went in March.
Yeah, we're going to see. I was trying to avoid that going early, so we'll see.
Yeah, how's the pack feeling? Does the gear feel good? You're not.
Yeah,
that's right. Your day hike. Yeah. I saw the picture you sent me. I'm definitely putting that in the show notes. You do look like you're out for an afternoon stroll.
I could send you another one just for fun. I put my day pack up on the scale, and it weighed 11 pounds. Cheryl made me carry all the lunch.
All of it, all 11 pounds of it. Eh? Yeah. Have you taken a picture by the sign?
Yeah, we did. I texted it to you before I called you.
Oh, I've obviously got that, I'm sure, in my phone. But are you still at the sign now?
Yes.
I've got a very good tip for you.
Okay.
When I was there, I signed in, I looked around, had some pictures taken, turned around, ready to take my very first step, and smashed into an overhanging branch. I mean, really hard, really, really hard.
I'm looking over there. I can see probably one of the ones that you might have done that on.
I'm surprised it's recovered. I tell you, it was terrible for me at the time. How does Cheryl feel now? How does Cheryl feel?
I'll let her tell you.
Sure.
I feel great. We had so much fun. It was such a fun day. It really was. I really enjoyed it. And
imagine doing that 180 days.
Well, I was going to say, this is one day, 179 to go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But this morning, I was awake at 3:45, and it was pouring rain.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I just thought, oh, no, the whole day is going to be rain. But we've had a lovely day. And
lovely.
Everyone we've met has been so friendly and so nice. It was just really a lot of fun. It really was.
Oh, great. It's a great send-off. I tell you, Bruce, you've been charmed so far. You've always said you're a lucky guy. You've been very charmed and lucky so far.
No question.
You? So let's hope it keeps going as well.
I've come over to these trees where you might have hit your head. There's a plaque now. It says Steve Mighty Blue Adams right on the plaque on the tree, I think. I think that's what
dear. Wouldn't that be cool? Have you signed there's a book at the top, I think, by or around the sign. Have you signed that book?
I'm glad you said that. I have not. We took some pictures. I texted you a picture. I said, well, let's call Steve quick before I forget. I'm going to go over and sign in.
All right. So what's your plan? You're gonna head down that mile? Why don't you go down that small way? And I don't know whether Cheryl's that interested. Maybe she will be. But there's the path to the Blue Blaze to the shelter isn't that far down that hill, and it's not very far off the trail either. So you can just show her what the shelters are like on the way down.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, we did see one, back about 7.3 miles up the Blue Blaze, but we'll head down that way, and maybe we can see that shelter as well.
Yeah, nice spot for lunch. You go for lunch at the shelter.
Well, yeah, it's well past lunch. We did stop and have some lunch. Cheryl packed this great lunch. We had probably my last fresh fruit for a long time.
Right. So what happens for the rest of the day then?
Well, it's 4:00. We'll catch a shuttle in about 45 minutes and head down the mountain. They say it takes almost an hour to get back to our little cabin. Right. And, we actually bought a bottle of wine when we were in town last night. So probably just relax tonight and drive right back up the mountain tomorrow morning, put the real pack on and start heading north.
All right. Well, look, I don't know when I'm going to speak to you next. This is going to be driven by you. Whenever you're available and you've got a decent signal, you just text me. And if we can do it, we'll try to catch up in a day or two's time once you've got your first impressions. And if you remember, you remember that it was that second night in your, second night of the hike, you said that was the time you think you're going to realise you're really into it. So I'm interested to see what you think on that second night.
I still think that might be true. I mean, it started today. I did feel a little bit of the old life, and not the old life, but the business life and the other activities drifting away a little bit. But it'll take another day or two, I think.
I told you, you're turning feral already. you're gonna be feral very, very quickly. So tomorrow morning, you're heading out. What time do you think?
No, probably 8:30. They serve breakfast at 8, so we'll probably eat quick and go.
Okay, cool. Well, look, have a great evening, and I can't wait to hear you when you're actually on the trail with your full pack. And obviously, wish you well, and hope it goes great. And I'll speak to you in a couple of days. All right.
Very good. Thanks so much for following along, Steve, and we'll track you down in a day or two.
Okay, buddy. Take it easy. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So that was his first day. He sounded pretty darn chipper, didn't he? The approach trail is done, and he's completed 1 mile of the real thing. The next day was Sunday, or yesterday if you're listening on Monday the 26th of February. Cheryl was going to drop Bruce off on the forest road that crosses the trail after about 1 mile, and he'll head north with his full pack. When Cheryl got home later on Sunday, we had another brief chat. But before we speak with Cheryl, I've got a couple more 5-star reviews to share with you. LTWSH 2017 says that he, or she, enjoys listening to Steve's true knowledge of the trail merging with Bruce's research. He, or she, goes on to say that he or she listened to episodes 1 to 14 in 1.5 days. Now that is a bit of binge listening. Yukon Caboose listens to our Mighty Blue podcast and says that this show is just what the doctor ordered. He goes on to say, having two gents that are in my general age range, careful, discuss their experiences, planning, gear lists, expectations, etc. is so enlightening and enjoyable. Thanks the two of you for both those reviews. Now, here's Cheryl with the latest update. So, it's now Sunday evening, and I've been waiting all day to put this program out, so I want to hear from Cheryl. So, Cheryl's back home. It's 7 minutes to 7. Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm just great. How are you tonight, Steve?
I'm good, thank you. Are you emotional about this, or are you pretty cool about it all? Now you've sent me this video of him wandering off into the distance.
Well, you can see that white van in the video.
Uh-huh.
That's the van that, and the driver dropped us off, and I thought I would just say goodbye. And, we've been preparing for this for so long, but I really got teary when I got in the van.
Right.
And, I miss him already, but he's going to be great. He sent me a text and a picture. He had his tent all set up for the night and near the shelter, and cool. It was raining when he left. We woke up this morning. It was pouring, and just pouring. And it stopped some, but it was still kind of rainy. And he put his rain kilt in the top of the pack so he could have it handy. But I think it did stop later on. So, and the picture he sent from this evening looks like it was okay.
Oh, good. So, good. Were there many people around him?
You might hear some voices in the little video I sent you. A car pulled up right when we did, and it was a through hiker also, and just getting started at the same place. So I'm sure they probably crossed paths and chatted along the way. And I met a really, really sweet young man. He was between high school and college, his gap year, and his father was with him. They were in the van. They had stayed at the same place, and he was starting this morning on the approach trail, and really excited. And I just told him to look for Bruce, and I'm sure they'd have a great time chatting about it. He hopes to finish the same time Bruce does. So I told him maybe we see him at.
He's going to meet so many people along the way. As people will go in and out of his hike, and he'll meet them and then never see them again. And then I saw several people literally 1,500 miles apart. It's extraordinary how the rhythm of this hike changes for everybody. And, looking at, and it's been an exciting weekend, really, with you guys yesterday morning and meeting Robert and Margaret, which was lovely of them to say, to wish Bruce on his way. And then speaking to you at the top and now again this evening. It's been a great start to the hike. And does he look happy in the picture?
I think he was thrilled. I think he was so excited this morning. He just really, I mean, I know it's something he's wanted to do since he was a boy, and it really showed. He was really excited.
He was great. Well, looks a bit. When are you going to be seeing him next? Have you any plans to see him soon?
I don't think he said he has a schedule all laid out for me, and he's on about 6 weeks.
Oh, right, really? Of course he's got a schedule laid out for you.
Well, my first mailing is tomorrow, and I got my instructions what to include in the box. So I will do that tomorrow at the UPS store. And then he thought about 6 weeks from now would be a good point that I could make it, with my work schedule and with his schedule. So.
Yeah.
But, he already sent me some texts, so that was great.
Oh, good. Well, I'm sure he's going to stay in touch, and you'll be surprised how easy it is to stay in touch these days. The phones are getting better and better, and even in 2014, I was able to call Diane literally every day other than one day. So, he'll stay in contact. And has he got one of those spot tracking devices? I can't recall.
He does.
Oh, he does, right.
Which
so
I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
He does have
it's good to know. Good to know. Okay, Cheryl, well, it was lovely talking to you yesterday and now today, and he's just going to be fine. Trust me, he'll be absolutely fine. He'll be safe. He'll love the people out there, and he's just going to have a blast. And I'm so excited for him, I tell you.
Well, I really am too. To help somebody live their dream, it's just the best.
How about that? You're done right.
And we really appreciate all the support everybody's given. I mean, he couldn't do it by himself, and you've been so kind and wonderful to him. And when Robert and Margaret came as well, that was just a wonderful send-off. It really was. So. It was so encouraging.
I think so as well. Okay, well, I'll probably call you sometime during the next couple of weeks, see how you are, and I'm sure you'll be fine anyway. And just keep listening to the program, I'm sure, because you're going to be hearing from him quite regularly.
Oh, that'd be great, because I'll be listening every Monday.
That's lovely. Well, there'll be one. Well, this is going to be out tomorrow morning, so I will. I'll speak to you soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
Cheers, then. And you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that, as they say, is a wrap. It's been quite a weekend. I've thoroughly enjoyed following Bruce. It's now 9:15 at night on the Sunday. I've just finished editing the program, and I'm just so looking forward to the rest of this journey and following Bruce all the way. So, as I always say, Bruce and I will see you next week.